Hello, my name is Liam Gallagher. I am a composer and a coder based out of Toronto, Canada. And this is a video on how to initialize my Street Fighter Duet project so that you can run it at your art gallery or your cool game thing installation spot. So the first thing you're going to need to do is make sure that Chuck is installed on the computer that you're going to run the project on. Chuck is available on all the popular platforms. I'm running a Fruit computer, so you can see me hit the button there. So once you get Chuck installed, it'll be in the form of an application called Mini Article. Here you can see the documentation for the Chuck programming language and all its specifications if you need that. This project needs little, but hopefully absolutely no programming knowledge. But that's where it is just in case you have any problems. So boot up the Mini Article application. It's the virtual environment within which the Chuck language runs. And that's for a number of reasons that aren't important here. But you've got your virtual machine, you've got your shred editor, and you've got your console monitor. So you can see here that I've got Chuck running, and the console is printing all sorts of statistics about the operation of the computer. So here's the first program there, all my lines of code. And then you'll need to open up the second one as well. The two different controllers are housed in their own separate programs because they're separate software instruments. This code is of course available on my website at theliamgallagher.com/streetfighterduet. And those files are also packaged with all the samples that you'll need in order to run the program in the appropriate file hierarchy. So here you can see I'm starting to mess around with the first controller. You can hear the drum samples that I've triggered, and the console is printing all of the button presses, the down position and the up position. So the first thing that might be a problem for you is your human interface device setup. So Chuck uses a system to interpret button presses from gamepads called human interface devices, and it labels these devices serially. So the first thing that you connect to your computer will be called device 0. In this case, I have Street Fighter Duet Player 1 rigged up to 0 and 2 to 1, because in comp sci we count from 0, not from 1. So depending upon how many human interface devices your computer has hooked up, it might not number your gamepads as 0 and 1. So all you would need to do to fix that problem is go into the device browser in Chuck, figure out what your interface devices are labeled as, and then change the value for an initialized device, or rather integer device. And you can see that when they're hooked up appropriately, the console will print a value saying that they have been done so. So the next thing you want to do is you want to open up your emulator. I'm using SNES 9X. So just bring up the preference pane and go to sound and make sure the volume is off. This is so that the sounds of the game don't compete with the sounds of the Street Fighter Duet program. So here's the window. So one of the things that's important to remember is that oftentimes working with emulators can be a little bit finicky. The hardware for the Super Nintendo has been recreated in a software situation with ones and zeros, and as a result sometimes they can be picky. So never be afraid to just do the good old-fashioned soft reset. So you'll see there up in the window I go over to emulation and software reset. There you go. Power cycling is your best friend. Often Chuck, sometimes because it's an emulated environment, gets little hiccups too. So never be afraid when things aren't working and there seems to be no explanation for it, just to hit reset. So in that case, you would stop the virtual machine, close the program, and then just restart everything. Once things get running, that's not a problem, but sometimes in the initial phases of setup, these things happen. So you see here I'm selecting a stage, I've got my two characters, I've got my two instruments set up. You can see the console is printing all the values I'm inputting onto the controller. And then we have a match. So you'll want to go through those steps in order to get players into the play sequence, namely, which is just navigating the games menu in order to get to the versus stage select. And then that's how you play and set up a game of Street Fighter Duet. So there's all the information that you need on this project available on my website. Everything down to the hardware that you'll need, the specific software and where you can get it, a package of all the software necessary, descriptions of the project from both a artistic and technical background, in case you need to promote the event or describe it to some other technical people, as well as designs for example layouts for the project to be put up in, say, a convention hall or an art gallery. Please don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions about the project or any troubleshooting issues. You can get me at liamg25 on Twitter or through this website or the comments on the videos. If you do put this project up in a space, please let me know. Give me the credit, that'd be great. But also I'd love to hear how it went and get the pictures and videos from it, as well as recordings of the wonderful music you guys make. And once again, for full documentation on this project, head to theliamgallagher.com/Street Fighter Duet.